Hi, Elena. It's nice to see that you have sent us your first set of essays. Great job. I see you working really hard. So let's take a look at what you've written here. This is the one about doing an enjoyable activity with a child. Here's what you wrote. There are controversial discussions in society whether entertaining activity could be more beneficial in developing children's skills than reading. I strongly believe enjoyable hobbies can significantly improve child performance in specific areas where reading books couldn't help. In this essay, I will expand this view using a Harvard study example, as well as recent data from Sport England. All right, so let's talk about some of the positives about this paragraph. First of all, you've used the template quite nicely, so good job there. The structure of the introduction is fine, appropriate. You have given us your opinion, which is also very important in your introduction, so that's fine too. Now let's talk about what the problems are. The problems are grammar and spelling. All right, so let's talk about the easy stuff first of all, which is spelling. Beneficial is spelled wrong. Enjoyable. Essay is wrong as well. Okay, so in a short little paragraph like that, these are mistakes that you want to avoid because the introduction is the examiner's first impression of your writing, and so you want that impression to be strong, solid, and as accurate as possible. Now let's talk a little bit about the grammar. Let's go through it one more time, and this time I'll correct the grammar. There are controversial discussions in society whether entertaining activities, plural, could be more beneficial in developing children's, apostrophe S, skills than reading. I strongly believe enjoyable hobbies can significantly improve children's, apostrophe S, performance in specific areas where reading books could not help. Why? Because it's a formal essay. We do not use apostrophes. We don't use contractions in formal essays. In this essay, I will expand this view using a Harvard University, capital U, study example, as well as recent data from Sport England. Okay, so let's move on. Reading has numerous benefits. Nevertheless, playing on electric games consoles can develop skills that would be impossible to develop by reading alone without the. This is because by playing consoles, a child can develop spatial, reflexive, cognitive, and various other skills that are impossible to develop by just reading. Now, I don't really like this. Let me show you why. Look. First of all, it's that are impossible. Look what you did. Impossible to develop by just reading. And then here, impossible to develop by reading. So it's identical or nearly identical with just one, in the very next sentence. Okay, and this sentence is providing support for this, but you haven't really. All you've really done here is just explain which skills are developed. So it's pretty much two identical sentences. Take a look at them. You say that playing on electric game consoles develops skills that reading can't. And then you say that's because playing consoles can develop these skills that reading can't. So it's almost like two identical sentences. All right? What you needed to do is explain how playing on game consoles can develop skills, okay? Or you could have said more specifically, spatial, reflexive, cognitive, and various other skills are developed because children do A, B, C, D, E when they play game consoles, and these are activities that reading does not provide. Okay, so that would have made sense. Let's see what you wrote. For example, recent studies by Harvard not shown, that children playing 2 hours a week on consoles such as PlayStation or Nintendo outperform their counterparts by 20% in psychometric tests. Okay, therefore the advantages of playing with games consoles are clear and give, not giving, and give because are clear and give opportunity to a child to progress in areas neglected by just reading. All right, fine. Secondly, just reading may set up limitation on a child skill set within academic achievements. This should be one sentence. Hold on. One sentence and no period here as well. So whereas physical activities, especially sports, okay, so comma here, introduce new dynamics such as competition, psychocognitive challenges, and multitasking. For instance, comma, Sport England, in fact, noted, get rid of this comma here. Sport England, let's try this again. For instance, Sport England noted revealing results of their recent school essays with an E. Get rid of the comma. That children who consistently dedicate time for sport hobbies have larger social connections. Half as few mental health issues and are more confident on interviews. As a consequence, these allow personality development to advance on multiple levels, not just academically. So again, we've got grammar problems here. I like what you wrote. A lot of it was good. The ideas were great, but the grammar is problems. It has problems in it. Okay. So to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that enjoyable activities with children evolve their various skills and imagination, which are critical. I don't know what this means. In personality settling? You mean something else. Because that's not an expression in English that is particularly meaningful. So you needed to find a different expression for that. Okay, so it's clear here that there are a couple of problems. But before we talk about those, let's talk about what the positives are. The positives are that you have used the template well. You did a good job of using it, especially here and here. But as I said before, there were some issues that we need to talk about. So let's talk about one major issue with this essay, okay? Now, it says enjoyable activity with the child can develop better skills and more creativity. You definitely talked about skills. You talked about all of these, spatial, reflexive, cognitive, etc. Here you talked about psychocognitive challenges, multitasking, more confidence, fewer mental health issues. Okay, fine. So a lot of skills. But never did you talk about creativity. Okay, and if you look at the task, they absolutely want you to. How do you know that? Because they have separated it from skills. They could have just not mentioned creativity and, let it up to the candidate to decide if they want to talk about creativity or not. But the fact that they said better skills and more creativity show us that they absolutely want you to dedicate a sizable portion of your essay to this. So you could have developed one paragraph just about various skills and one paragraph just creativity, okay? But absolutely you need to spend time on creativity, and not doing so is definitely going to cost you for task achievement. All right, so those are some things I want you to think about. I don't want you to feel discouraged by this because this is really typical, your first essay, okay? It happens, but I want you to be aware of the importance of really, really, really closely and carefully reading the task before you start your essay. Let's take a look at your second essay. All right, so let's move on to your second essay here about schools and whether they should only educate or not. Here's what you wrote. There is a constant debate in society whether school education should be more entertaining or mainly academic approach with the focus on learning should be a standard. Okay, grammar here again is a problem. So let's try to fix that, Elena. There is a constant debate in society whether school education should be more entertaining or mainly, or if mainly an academic approach with the focus on learning should be a standard. Okay, that's what's missing. Personally, I strongly advocate the former view. In this essay, again, make sure you learn how to spell essay. I will provide research evidence from PubMed and UK government supporting that entertaining activities are beneficial and contribute to the learning process at educational institutions such as school. Okay, you didn't need a comma here, but other than that, it's fine. Although the main purpose of school education is to provide required knowledge as a foundation for future life and career, this process can also be enjoyable and entertaining. Not only would children associate schools with a fun place to attend, In addition, experiencing positive feelings while studying, careful with your spelling, can make learning more effective. Now, you tried to use an advanced grammatical structure here, so good for you. I'm glad you did it, but remember that when you do this, you need to be accurate as well. So this is called inversion, and it should be not only would children associate. In other words, it looks kind of like a question, but you have not only in front. All right, so in fact, PubMed search, what does that mean, search? I think you mean research. In fact, PubMed research confirmed that many influential, okay, what happened here? I don't know what PubMed search means then. Why don't we try it differently? In fact, PubMed confirmed that many influential, we don't say researches, we say studies because research is uncountable. Recently have found evidence that people learn better when they are feeling strong, positive emotions. In addition to this, a study in the journal College Teaching found that students could recall a science lecture more easily when the lecture added jokes about relevant topics. Therefore, is more entertaining and fun. Therefore, the more entertaining and fun the learning process is, the more pupils learn and remember. All right, again, so this is another advanced grammatical structure. So great job in using it, but again, I want you to be careful with the accuracy, okay? So that's how you need to change this sentence around. I liked this. Let's see. Learn better when they have strong positive emotions. And then, okay. Yeah, I like this. I thought this was good. And you know what's really exciting for me, Elena, is that you understood the element of entertainment, of fun, of enjoyment. You talked about jokes. You talked about entertaining. You talked about strong positive feelings. Okay. But the fact that you talked about jokes showed me that you understood what we mean by entertainment. And the reason why I point that out is because this is something that a lot of students have a hard time with. So good. I'm glad you didn't. Let's move on. Secondly, introducing games in a learning process can develop valuable life skills. This is because play supports the early development of children's '(s) self-control, improves. Why? Because it's play supports, play improves motivation levels, and has a positive effect on adaptation to changing environment. For example, in a recent study published by UK government, the UK government, by the way, it was found that children with greater self-control solved problems more quickly when exploring an unfamiliar setup requiring scientific reasoning. I don't understand this. Okay, this sort of evidence makes us think that giving children a chance to play will make them more successful problem solvers in the long run. All right, let me see if I understand this. So, play supports self-control, and then when kids had more self-control, they solved problems more quickly. Okay. The reason you hear me kind of hesitate with this paragraph is because I've now read it like 3 or 4 times. There's no mention of school here. Okay. So essentially what you're saying is, yeah, okay, you mentioned in the learning process. You don't say how this could be incorporated in school and how school needs to be involved in this and how, do you understand what I mean? So one could assume that this game playing and so forth could be done outside of school. But what you need to do here is to explain to us how this needs to be incorporated into the school curriculum, because that's what we're talking about, schools, all right? So if you had done that, I think this would have been an excellent paragraph. And you could have said that, let's see, this sort of evidence makes us think that giving children a chance to play will make them more successful problem solvers in the long run, which, as we know, is one of the goals of the school in the first place, okay? Schools want children to be problem solvers. So I wanted you just to keep this element of school and how play needs to be part of school in this paragraph. That, for me, was missing. And so as I was reading, I thought, is it really on topic? Is it really on topic? It could have been. All right, but you were really kind of entering a dangerous territory here. So let's move on. To conclude from examples and arguments given, I firmly agree that implementing fun and learning in the learning process at schools not only has a positive effect on memorizing study material, but also developing important life skills such as motivation, self-discipline, and problem solving. All right, that's lovely. That's fine. So, I'm definitely far happier with this essay than I was with the previous one. I think you did a very nice job. You know, even though there were some problems, all right, we've talked about those problems considerably, but for your first set of essays, I think you're off to a good start, so great. Now what you have to do, of course, is correct these essays and return them back to us. Don't forget to send us your error correction list with the mistakes on one side and then next to them, you know, what the corrected version should be. And of course, another set of essays, your next set. So go ahead, get all that started. Let's meet back here in the next day or so with all of that so you know, don't lose any of your momentum. And let's see what you write in the next set. Okay, good luck.